Can you imagine a life of a mother and a son who were torn apart, all because of drugs? But one thing though, this isn't imagination. The story you're about to hear, nothing is fabricated. I was fresh out the womb, 1 pound, 2 ounces. I was so light, gasping for air, trying not to lose my life. Still attached, I looked at my mother and asked, How could you do this to me? How could you do this to your son? How could you let me turn into a crack baby? I needed pumps for air, tubes sticking this way and that. I could hear the doctor saying,
He's not going to last. He's not going to last.
I glanced to my left and see my mother crying. Why was she crying? I was the one who was dying. After a 2-week struggle, I finally made it out that 2-cage bubble and into the arms of the system.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
My mom didn't listen. Home after home, I got kicked out. The reason because I would pout and shout. But I was only a baby. It wasn't my fault. I did what every other baby did. But since I was a foster kid, they gave me the boot and found a replacement so they could stack more loot with less problems. And for the many years to come, this is how it ended up. I went from this house to the next because I kept messing up. My life from jump was nothing but snake eyes. Sometimes, I wish I would have died in the incubator instead of hearing all these families tell me, I'll see you later. What a life, what a life. A life from the start that wasn't destined to go right. At age 5, I got to go back home, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. After that, it was right back into the arms of an all too familiar place. A place that went from this place to that place, and then another place. My life I really started to hate. So I decided to jump off the roof in hopes that I would meet my maker. So I looked up and told the world,
I'll see you later.
With a quick dash, off I jumped in hopes that I would never wake up. But what was achieved was 2 broken knees. I couldn't walk for 4 weeks. Once healed, I tried other things, hoping that death is what I could bring upon me. I saw never-ending sadness, which lasted, well, I'm still going through it. But back to the story. Back in the system at 8, released at 11. When I went back home, I questioned, how long would this one last? Not too long, 6 months to be exact. Drugs consumed my mom again, and I was off to a group home. I packed up, clothes and all, gave my mom a hug and never looked back. In my new home, with 5 others with me, which equals 6, I witnessed a lot of physical conflicts and had my fair share. The staff there said they cared, but only half of them showed it. The other half took advantage. Busted my lips and dips that they called restraints. If you looked on the wall, you would see blood splattered on the paint. A 4x4 room called the quiet room, a room in which you were held captive for hours at a time. I was sent to this room and screamed, "Let me out!" And what I received was a laugh and a middle finger.
Let you out when it says time.
There,
Shut up!
2 years. Started a house riot, sprayed the fire extinguishers all over the place, and off I went to the next place, Citrus Heights. I got into 5 fights and was shipped out. It wasn't my fault. They were trying to test me, and 2 fists is what they got from T. I told the director, and he said that was no excuse. I remember it all so clearly. He said, "Son, I'm gonna have to cut you loose." Fine, was my statement. I packed up my bags and resided on the pavement. And who did I see? A county car coming to get me. Off to another house. This one I don't remember too clearly, but I lived there for a couple of months. Then I went back home for 3 months. And there I was, looking at the door of a new house. It never ends. It begins from drugs and will end in emancipation. A year and 6 months, I'm almost through. In a year and a half, I can start new. No longer will I be a check or a case number. I'll be a person. I'll be able to experience everything that I was denied. In a house that no one will be able to kick me out because it'll be mine. And if I ever have kids, I swear on my life I will never do the things my mom did because I've gone through the hurt and lived in depression. I lived a life that no one should have to. So in my closing statement, I just want to let everyone know that sometimes life isn't what you make it, it's whatever dice are rolled. And if it's low, then life will take its toll on you.
Believe.